All right, welcome back to RV SQL Database Development Design at Raritan Valley Community College. I'm Dr. Larson. This is our SQL lesson, week 4, our Lab 3 walkthrough. So if you didn't watch the lesson on Intro to Joins, shame on you, but I would advise you go back and do it. But if not, we can walk through it together. The first thing you're obviously going to do is you're going to go to my website with the link below, and you're going to download the joins instructions, Lab 3 instructions here. Which is down here, Lab 3 joins. Okay, so you're going to grab that, and then we'll meet you in. And you're also, if you didn't take the other question, you're going to have to download the labs table build too, and then go ahead into SQL Server. And since I've already got it, let me just close a couple of these out. I was already close that out. Don't need this. Yeah, I don't care to keep that. All right, so this is the table build. Again, if you want to know more about this, go watch my previous video. I kind of explained a lot of this. But if not, make sure you're in your right database. Make sure you got the right database, then you should be able to run this. And again, you can run this as many times as you want because it's designed to be rerun. So you always get a nice fresh run. And if you know you did it right, if you get these 4 tables, you get 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it ran correctly. And you should see your tables to your left. All right. So we're going to go ahead, open up that lab we downloaded. So we got the lab instructions. Okay. Any day now. It's opening slowly. We'll get there. All right. So in this lab, we're actually going to be, if I can get over here, we're actually going to be using, just so I clear, these 3 tables. Hey, and I showed you in the last lesson how to make this little diagram. So, I mean, really, the last lesson would be very helpful for this if you didn't watch it. But in this example, we're using 3 tables. We have student, we have tutor, and we have tutoring. You'll notice that our student has a stud ID, tutor has a tutor ID. They're connected here. Tutoring, their primary key is tutor session. We have a tutor ID foreign key that connects to this one, and we have a student ID that connects to this stud ID. Okay? So ignore the pictures, just grab down here and all of this, and you are going to go to your SQL Server, create a new query, move this over so you can see what I'm doing, and go ahead, let's drop our lab in there, and do the same thing I always do, just start, go up here, and I'll space it all out for you guys can see it easier, but see, when you're working at a college, you have no budget for an editing team, so I have to do things on the fly. All right, so I'm going to move this. The first question is going to be, create 3 select statements, 1 for each table, so you can see what kind of data you're working with. Well, our tables are, we know, will be select star from student, select star from tutor, and select star from tutoring. And again, getting this red because you just built these tables that Microsoft's too dumb to realize they're there, but they will work. So go, let's highlight this, execute it, and you're going to see, you're going to get, let me pull this up so you can see all the results you get. Sorry, a little slow today. Well, we have our student table here. We have our tutoring. We have tutor ID, name, years of service, and we have our tutoring session where we have our tutor ID, which subject was tutored, and the student ID. And we have tutor sessions, our primary key. Okay. So that right there, that shows us this is our data. It's always something I advise. I should always look at your data. You know, in the real world, when you're dealing with larger data sets, you probably want to limit, you know, maybe top 10, top 100. I think my default at work when I was working for Verizon, we defaulted at 2,000 records. That was just our default. That's, you know, just to look. You didn't want to, because you didn't want to, if you did a query on a table with 200 billion records, you might as well have lunch before it gets done running. And DBA, the people in charge of the database are going to be freaking mad at you for doing stuff like that. So always advice when you do it, you know, real world, bring in a limit, a top or something like that. But here, because the tables are so small, it's not a big deal. All right, so we're going to go now to here. Let me just go ahead and set this up so we can all read this. All right. Okay, so create an inner join between tables student and tutoring. Use select star for your field selection, and note that student ID is the foreign key to stud ID in the student table. Primary and foreign key can have different names. They don't have to be named the same. They must be the same data type, and the foreign key values must be present in the primary key, but names don't matter. So really quickly, we can go over here and look. I was going to pull this up for a second here. We can go ahead, we've got our student table here. And we actually go ahead, hold on, move this screen over a little bit for you. See, all right, there we go. I'll move it back in a second. So we got student, get rid of billing. Let's get rid of this close billing up. We don't care about billing right now. And we do care about tutoring, okay? So here's our columns. Stud ID connects to student ID in our tutoring table. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go over, and I'm going to close this out some more. And all right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to, first I said use a select star. So we say select star, and from, you can pick either table you want. I'm just going to pick I'm just going alphabetical order, student and tutoring. So select from student as S. And this is an inner join, so it does not matter which order they're in. The left and the right ones are the only time it matter what order they're in, okay? Join tutoring, it's T, and then we're going to join on S stud ID is equal to T student ID, okay? Because that's my keys, all right? Select this, execute, and there we go. Here's our results. And that's our query. Here's our results. So we got everything from both sides. Biology, Gary. So tutor sessions, student IDs. So everyone came over. So this is everything that joined on the student thing. Now I wanted to point out to you, you could have done an inner join. You could have written inner, it would do the same. The results are the exact same. By default, inner join is so you just don't have to put it. Okay, so there we go. That's simple enough on that one. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing, but we're going to do it with between tutor and tutoring. Okay, so now let's say select star. We'll just, you know what, just to show you no matter what order we're in, we'll go tutoring as T, and I'll say join tutor as T1 maybe. I mean, you can do whatever, you can name it whatever you want. You know, maybe you'll name it toot. I don't, whatever you want to do. And then we join on T dot tutor ID equals T1 dot tutor ID. And we select that, execute, and we have an incorrect syntax. What did I do? Ooh, know what I did wrong here? I missed my on. There we go. On. So remember, joins have two elements, your join and what you're joining on. So we're joining two tables. Join tells me which tables we're joining, on tells me what columns we're joining on. So there we go. Now we created a join from our tutor and our tutoring, okay? So now create a full outer join between the tables tutoring and tutor and use the select. So what I'm going to do, because I'm lazy, I'm going to copy this, paste it, scroll down a little bit, and all you got to do is type in the word full, okay? So now you see we got some nulls, okay? So what does this tell me? All right, this tells me this tutor here, Curtis, Keith, and Brittany, they don't have any tutoring sessions, okay? That's what this says. They haven't done any work. They're just, I guess, on rolls, haven't done any work. Again, if you compare the two, we can highlight them both and run them both at the same time. And take a look at our results. So you'll notice that Curtis, Keith, and Brittany don't even appear here because remember, inner join only brings in things that sit in both tables, where your full outer brings in everything over, okay? So inner join removes stuff that's not in both tables. That's why that you did not see anybody there. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So now we've matched our two tables, our tutor and tutoring. Let's go back to the picture, just so sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. So we've matched these two tables and we've matched these two. We cannot directly match these two tables. We'll show you towards the end, but the way to get to, if you wanted from the student, you want to get the student name and the tutor name, you have to go through the tutoring table to pull both. So you need to actually, you can't traverse here. You have to go across here to here. But this is what we've done so far. We've put those two together and then we put these two together, okay? So what's our next question? All right. Get this down so you can read it. Create a left and right outer join between the tables tutoring and tutor. Note, create two separate queries. So I'm going to go here again because I'm being really lazy. I'm just going to paste once and I'm going to paste, oops, twice because they're asking me for the same tables, just a left and right. So all we're going to do now is we're going to say left and we're going to say right. And before I do this, take a second. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so the left, always remember we got these here. So tutor, my left table is tutoring, okay? So everything from tutoring will come over and only stuff that matches from tutor. And my right table is tutor, so this should, our inner join should look like our left because everything will come over from the tutoring. We'll get all 8 tutoring sessions and just the tutors that match. And our right one will get all of our tutors in any of the tutoring sessions that match. So kind of, different. So that's what my prediction is going to happen. I'm going to select these two and we're going to run it. And now you'll notice the one interesting thing here. Okay, so actually I'm going to show you in a second here, but you'll notice so the first one came up as I said, the left came up as I said, the right came up with the nulls, but check this out. So I'm going to do, just to make life interesting, you don't have to do this, I'm just messing around here. I'm going to take my right join and I'm going to come up here to our, actually, I don't want to exit, I want to copy it. Copy our right join, and we'll come up here to our full outer, and I'm going to run them both. Watch this now. Okay, so full outer versus our left was, versus our right join, what's the difference? Okay, so the full outer goes through and takes everything from tutoring, and then whatever doesn't match up, it throws it on the end here from tutor. Okay, where this one, my right, it takes to tutor. So it goes right down our tutor ID table and matches you up. So notice you got Bob, Carol, Curtis, he doesn't have anything, Keith doesn't have any, Jose's got 2, Brittany, Kristen. And here they're scrambled, they're mixed up. Here we go through each one. So we're just going straight down the list. Because if you actually looked at tutor, that's what you're going to see. You should see Bob, Carol, Curtis, Keith, Jose, Brittany, and Kristen. That should be the order I'm going to predict, and that is the order they're in. Okay, so that's all that's doing. So that's the big difference between your full and your right outer. Okay. So the right outer is not a full. It is different, very different from the full. Okay, I just wanted you to see that. All right. So now using the tables below, filter the results, the only subjects starting with the letter C. Hint, we're going to use a wildcard. So you'll need to use a like command. Remember, for our where clause, what did we have? We had to have, if we didn't know the name or full flat, we had to use a wildcard. We had to use a like command. So here we have, if you got to go back and check out the video on where clauses, that wouldn't hurt. But anyway, we're going to add a where clause. Now, again, order of operations is very important in SQL. It's the only thing that really matters. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go, the where clause has to go after the from. The joins are considered part of the from clause. So we say where, and we're looking for subjects. We'll only start with letter C. Well, subjects, you see here, it's in T1, so that's in tutoring. So we say T1 dot subject. Now notice I've got it in the square brackets here because it makes rid of the blue because subject is an actual keyword in SQL. But again, unlike Java, SQL is a little more lenient. But we're going to say we want it to start with the letter C. So we'll say like, single quotes again, C, and there is our wildcard. Okay, this is the wildcard we use with where versus our asterisk, which is our wildcard with select. We go here, we execute, and we bring up our results, and you'll see we only have two come back, calculus and chemistry. These are the only two subjects that we had C. And we can verify that by running the entire query here, earlier query, and you'll see calculus and chemistry, the only two that start with C. Okay. Now, this one here is going to run the two following queries in a sentence or two explain the differences. So what I got you here to do is take both queries, run them at the same time, come up, here, and you'll see you got one version's got a bunch of nulls, another one does not. What's the big difference? Well, the big difference is in the second one, I've got a where clause where subject is not null. And remember, with nulls, you can't use like, you can't use equal, you have to use is not null. Okay, and then now we go from here. So that's the main difference there. Another thing you could do to cause the same thing would be turn that from a left join to a right join, and you'd have the same results. Okay, but that's the big deal, is that I just added a clause that says where subject is not null, and that's the difference between the two queries. And that's why in the first result you get nulls, and in the second result, which is with the not null, you do not get any nulls. So nulls, not null. All right. Okay, moving on. Number 8. Query below sorted by name in reverse alphabetical order. So how do we sort by name? So first thing, get rid of your thing here, move this out. We use our order by t.name, and we'll go descending. And again, if I want, again, see name is another keyword. If I do this, the keyword, the blue goes away. It bothers some people. I don't care, but some people get bothered by it, that's why I show it to you. You know, and there we go. So we've ordered by name of the tutor. So that's what we've got, and you can see the names are in order, reverse descending. Starts with K, got Bob down here at the bottom. All right, so use the query below to only return the results where the start date is between January 1st, 2018 and December 31st, 2020. So again, we're going to go here with a where clause, and we're going to say s.start date. So we can see it right here. That's what we're looking for. Is between, and remember, we always do year, month, 2 letters, date, 2 letters, and if you're in America, if you're in a system, if you're working with European systems or anywhere else in the world, it goes month and day. So in this case, it don't matter. One's the same thing, but we're 2020. So in America, we do 12/31. In any other place you'll deal with, it would be 31/12. Just so you know, it's just the nature of how we do things here in the U.S. Okay, so that's our between clause. Oops, sorry. And we can run this, and you should only have dates between those two. So that's it. Don't have anything else in there. And then finally, bonus question. Before running this, I want you to write down what you think is going to happen. Write down what you think the results will be. Okay. And then run it and say how close you are. So I got a join here, my student and tutoring. This we've already done. But now I've got another table. Now I'm adding tutor, and I'm joining on tutor to tutoring. So I'm joining the tutoring into tutor. Students joined to tutor. So now student is effectively gotten to tutor. So what you're effectively doing is student to tutor by going through tutoring, okay? So we've gotten all of them. So now we're going to return our student name, start date, the subject, the name of our tutor, and the years of service this tutor has. And we execute this, and there we go. And bonus points if you recognize the fact that I didn't have a semicolon. All right, that is it for this lab. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.